On the 8th of May, the Podil district court in Kyiv ruled to detain Katerina Lapinska, one of the suspects in the attack on ex-soldier Dmytro Ivashchenko, for 1 month. According to the investigation, the 5 attackers are linked to radical left-wing organizations. Hromadske investigated why the attack took place and who was behind it. At around 8 p.m. on the 2nd of May, Dmytro Ivashchenko, nicknamed Verbych, went to the Podil district in Kyiv to meet his friends. He was attacked by 5 people near one of the houses.
I was hit in the back with a knife. They immediately sprayed me with a canister. I turned around. They sprayed me in the eyes. I turned around. I could slightly see out of one eye, the left one. And then there was a series of blows from hammers and a knife. I hit back at all the blows. Then, retreating, I took position in the archway. I was able to pull myself together, and they fled. I felt that something wasn't right. I saw that blood was flowing down to my feet. I calmly moved my fingers behind me. There was a hole in my back. I knew that I was starting to pass out. I quickly took my hat off and covered the wound.
Ivaschenko then called his friend Alexander. Luckily, his friends were nearby.
Fortunately, another friend of mine, Valentin, had a military first aid kit in the car. We immediately put a bandage on it. We decided not to swab it, because the hospital was close by. We just bandaged up the wound. I clamped it down with my fist. We took him to the hospital. He was so sprayed heavily with the gas, pepper spray or something, that my face started to burn because I was keeping hold of his wound next to him.
After arriving at the hospital, Ivaschenko received an operation. His vital organs were not affected. The police opened criminal proceedings based on this fact. They qualified the attack as hooliganism. Ivaschenko himself notes that he was unfamiliar with the road he was walking down. He has never been there before, so it is likely that the attack was unplanned. He suspects that he was targeted because of his civic stance.
I think that there are some left-wing extremist subculture forces in Ukraine, and they are not necessarily Ukrainian citizens. They can be Russians, Belarusian citizens. Their task is to destabilize the situation for the May celebration, May 9th, to turn up the heat. You see, they resort to methods such as attempted murder.
Another possible version of what could have provoked the attackers is the soldiers' clothing, camouflage shirts and a t-shirt with a picture of a Ukrainian war hero.
An Issa Munayev t-shirt. He was commander of Johar Dudayev battalion. He died at Debaltseve in 2015. They've ruined one of my favorite t-shirts.
The ideological opponents of these radical left-wing anarchists also state that it was those groups who committed the attack. In particular, representatives of the radical right-wing organizations C14 and National Corps. Photos appeared on social media of this year's May 1st demonstration. They show the individuals who look like Ivashchenko's attackers. However, their faces are not visible. Among the participants of this demonstration were representatives of another anarchist organization, Revolucyjna Dia, or Revolution Action. But Revolution Action deny any involvement in the attack against Ivaschenko. They say they would have claimed responsibility had they been involved.
There is no pattern on the text to the back on our website. Secondly, I have now checked and the t-shirt did not depict a national hero, but a Chechen, and the majority of the ultra-right are racist and would not publicize a Chechen. Therefore, he had no symbols on his clothing that would suggest that he was associated with Nazism.
Shortly after the attack on Ivaschenko, representatives of the left-wing anarchist organizations who had participated in the war in eastern Ukraine themselves issued a statement in which they condemned the crimes, calling the attackers scum. One of the signatories, Yevhen Lishan, assessed that the attack against Ivaschenko can only mean one thing: the escalation of street violence.
Any act requires understanding. Any action needs some kind of purpose. I have already said that this attack will only lead to the escalation of street violence. This is absolutely not what the left need right now.
Lapinska, one of the attackers, was arrested in a flat in Kharkiv, where her friend Vitaly lived. We contacted him to find out more about the woman. According to Vitaly, Lapinska was a school friend. She lived in the neighboring street, in Chernihiv. She later moved to Kyiv. Vitaly did not see her for almost 5 years after that. Her arrival in Kharkiv was a surprise to him.
She wrote to me a while ago saying that she just wanted to visit the city because she had never been here. But then, for some reason, her plans changed and she wrote that she was coming that same day she wrote to me. She said she would come during the night, and I know that there are no trains from Kyiv to Kharkiv at these hours. It was clear she had gotten a lift or something.
Vitaly also said that he didn't know about Lapinska's political activism. He says that she seemed calm and quiet to him, although she did listen to heavy music. According to the investigation, Katerina Lipinska is the daughter of Serhiy Lipinsky, an official in the Ministry of Defense. Her mother Valentina does not recognize her daughter's guilt or her involvement in left-wing movements.
No. No.
She also said that her daughter had a medical condition. She had a kidney transplant. She has to take medication. However, the investigation has justified her arrest, stating that Lipinska had the intention of hiding. After she was arrested, the police established the identity of another attacker. In absentia, they declared suspicions about 24-year-old Russian citizen Vyacheslav Lukichov. According to the police, he fled to Poland on May 4th. The investigation believes it was Lukichov who stabbed Ivaschenko with a knife. Lipinska has recently returned from Russia. According to her testimony, she married the Russian and was planning to go to Chernihiv or Moscow on the day of her arrest. Lipinska admits guilt, but refuses to talk to the press.
Are these circumstances correct?
Yes, this is true. I have given the investigation all the information I have. And right now, I sincerely regret my crime. And if I can, I want to pay for my crimes before the victims.
The investigation believes that Lukichov's arrest will give the opportunity to establish the motive behind the attack on Ivaschenko. They are working on finding out the identities of other 3 attackers. It is not yet known whether they had links to left-wing or any other kind of organizations.